This video is a useful guide for those explorers that want to learn something new about this exotic country. But if you believe that Chinese, Korean, and Japanese are Chinese and Filipino are Niga Chinese, please keep watching this video and learn something new. Japan is a sovereign island nation in East Asia, located in Pacific Ocean, shares sea with China, Taiwan, Korea, and Russia. The country is divided in 47 prefectures in 8 regions. Japanese capital is Tokyo, which means its capital. Japan in kanji is written in this way. It sounds Nippon or Nihon and means sun's origin. That is why the country is called Land of the Rising Sun. About 73% of Japan is forested, mountainous, and unsuitable for agricultural, industrial, or residential use. As a result, the habitable zones are mainly located in coastal areas. Mount Fuji is the highest mountain in Japan. The highest peak is considered as one of the most iconic landmarks of Japan. The islands of Japan are located in volcanic zone of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Japan has 108 active volcanoes. Destructive earthquakes, often resulting in tsunamis, occur several times each century. Japanese climate changes with the 4 seasons along all the year, and in the rainy seasons, typhoons often bring heavy rain.
The historical part is going to be short, I promise. Japanese ancient time is well known because of the work made by Ono Yasumaru and Hieda no Are. They compiled and edited the Kojiki, the oldest extant chronicle in Japan. This and its sequel, the Nihon Shoki, are a recompilation of the myths that set up Shintoism and its stories. Shinto is the ethnic religion that focuses on ritual practices to establish a connection between present-day Japan and its ancient past. They worship the kami, or supreme being, which is represented by a cohort of spirits, elements of the landscape, and forces of nature. We also have from this era the introduction of Buddhism from China. Buddhism is a tradition that focuses on personal and spiritual development. Buddhists strive for a deep insight into the true nature of life and do not worship gods or deities. The feudal era was characterized by the emergence and dominance of a ruling class of warriors, the samurais. The feudal warlords called daimyos started a civil war that ended with Nobunaga Oda's consolidation using European technology and firearms. However, after his death came the Edo period, 2.5 centuries of tenuous political unity without getting in touch with the rest of the world. In 1854, Commodore Matthew Perry with the United States Navy forced the opening of Japan to the outside world with the Convention of Kanagawa, but treaties with Western countries brought economical and political crises. Then, the Emperor Meiji adopted Western political, judicial, and military institutions to rescue the country. The Meiji Restoration transformed the Empire of Japan into an industrialized world power that pursued military conflict to expand its sphere of influence. So, the Sino-Japanese and Russo-Japanese War started. But it didn't take longer because Japanese expansionism and militarization ended when Japan carried out surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Then they got into the Second World War and United States answered with 2 atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki that forced them to surrender. The war cost Japan its colonies millions of lives and left much of Japan's industry and infrastructure destroyed. The shame survived the pass of the time.
Japan is a developed country with a very high standard of living and human development index, and one of the most densely populated countries in the world. Its population enjoys the highest life expectancy, the 3rd lowest infant mortality rate, the lowest natality rate, and the 2nd highest suicide rate in the world. Japan is a constitutional monarchy. The Emperor Akihito is a ceremonial figurehead. He is defined by the Constitution to be the symbol of the state and the unity of the people. and the nearest buildings can be higher than Tokyo's Imperial Palace. Power is held chiefly by the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and other elected members of the Diet. Japan's educational system played a central part in the country's recovery and fast economic growth in the decades following the end of World War II. For the Japanese people, it is primordial to give to the children a proper education. When a child is born, his parents start saving money for the university's tuition because it's extremely expensive, and by their side, the children spend all their life studying for the entrance examination because they can't apply more than once to the same university. It's almost impossible being allowed at the University of Tokyo, the most important in all the country. Japanese architecture is a combination between local and other influences, religion included. They are usually made with wood and rushes. Sliding doors are used in place of walls, allowing the internal configuration of a space to be customized for different occasions and impressive gardens. Kyoto is well known because of its ryokan, a type of traditional inn with access to thermal waters and a gorgeous meal, and the geishas, artists and accompaniment women, usually hired by foreigners and businessmen. They can dance, sing, play instruments, serve drinks, and play with their customers after a hard training. Japanese cuisine is known for its emphasis on sensationality of food, quality of ingredients and presentation, always trying to keep the balance. They serve many different plates with soft and hard flavors to create the best experience. Sushi, sashimi, ramen, oden, onigiri, tempura, okonomiyaki. What about a dessert? Tango, wagashi, and mochi. And if you want a local drink, there's matcha green tea or sake. We can't forget the origami or art of paper folding. The goal is to transform a flat sheet square of paper into a finished sculpture through folding and sculpting techniques. Since a simple crane to an extremely elaborate castle.
For sports lovers, traditionally, Japan's nation sport is sumo, a competitive full-contact wrestling sport where a rikishi or wrestler attempts to force another wrestler out of a circular ring or into touching the ground with anything other than the sole of his feet. Sumo literally means striking one another. Judo or gentle way is a modern martial art that was created as a physical, mental, and moral pedagogy in Japan. The objective is to either rule or take down an opponent to the ground, immobilize or force an opponent to submit with a joint lock or a choke. Kendo or sword way is a modern Japanese martial art which descending from swordmanship and uses bamboo swords and a protective armor. And of course, Karate-do or the empty-hand path is a martial art developed in the Ryukyu Kingdom. Karate is predominantly an striking art using punching, kicking, knee strikes, elbow strikes, and open hand techniques. Do you like festivals? Japanese tradition is full of matsuris or festivals. The most famous are the next ones. Henami or flower viewing is the Japanese traditional custom of enjoying the transient beauty of flowers, almost always referring to cherry or plum from the end of March to early May. Kinemera Matsuri or Festival of Steel Phallus. Oh my god! is held each spring in Kawasaki, Japan. The phallus, as the central theme of the event, is reflected in illustrations, candies, carved vegetables, decorations, and a parade. The legends say that a man defeated a demon in his wife Regina using a steel beam. Tanabata, also known as the Star Festival, is a Japanese festival that celebrates the meeting of the deities Orihime and Hikoboshi, represented by the stars Vega and Ultra, separated for the rest of the year by the Milky Way. The first festivities begin on 7 July, and people write their wishes in colored papers and hold them from bamboo leaves for make them true.
Now, let's talk about the funny side. Japanese people are very close to technology, especially robots, as they have a very limited natural resources. Robots are the most iconic item related to the quality of life to progress. So for them, it's natural having the biggest Gundam anime item, the statue in a mall, create robots as similar to humans as possible, and create a dynamic virtual singer whose voice is made by a computer. Tickets to those concerts are really expensive, and the image is a hologram. And about music, have you ever heard about AKB48? 48 girls in the same tape band. You could hear their music in a maid cafe, very popular between pregnant and middle-aged men. But the reason why Japan is so popular nowadays is because anime and manga all started at the beginning of the 90s. Manga started as an imitation of American comic and Japanese animation as a marketing tool. It wasn't special, however, all changed with the country as entertainment took over the Second World War and Osamu Tezuka published his work. The rest came with the snowball effect. More elaborated draws, the most famous stories, iconic masterpieces, Guinness record, the sexual freedom in a country where pornography is legal and bets for airlines and prefectures.
Now, little dove, you can pack up and go to Japan, or just have a good topic for showing off in any conversation. Or not.